did, yes, in the pouring rain. It was fun.
Which you didn't expect, but you didn't get wet.
Well, it stopped pouring right when we hit the stage. We'd like to take credit for that, but it was the audience apparently didn't mind either way. They were weirdly, spookily happy to be there.
They were fully prepared for what was happening. So
we did a show in East Lansing, Michigan, where the audience was packed together
on a rooftop.
On a rooftop of a garage, and it started to hail gigantic hailstones. and we were under a covered roof, but they couldn't go anywhere.
But it was
so people were just like going like this. The whole audience was screaming.
They're moaning.
Oh, but they stayed.
Well, they didn't. They were trapped.
Yeah.
It could have been worse, but it was pretty bad.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, despite the rain, it was a brilliant performance. Very enjoyable.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
But you did play your biggest hit.
Which was that?
What's Me.
Oh, was that our biggest hit?
I'd say it's your most recognisable hit.
Well, that may be at this point. I think Birdhouse charted higher.
Yeah.
Historically, but those people have grown old and are staying home probably.
Yeah.
Who are around.
We don't normally play that song. Actually, no. I mean, we did for a while, and then it just sort of fell out of the show.
Yeah.
Do you think you played it too much and you kind of got bored of it a bit? Or?
Well, part of it was because it was a TV theme. It always felt like it was a more obvious, like, well, here's the thing that we're playing because it's,
We should start playing the Twilight Zone theme or something, like really dedicate ourselves.
Right, here's another big hit.
To the TV theme segment of the show.
And when you agreed, obviously, for Malcolm in the Middle to use it as their theme song, did you ever think that it was going to be as big as it was as a TV show?
It's a funny story about that Malcolm in the Middle song. I'll tell you, I was at my Catskills retreat, and my wife got a message from me saying, this fellow Linwood Boomer needs you to call him back because they're creating a show, they're doing a pilot, and they want you to do a song for it. And she was like, is that the Linwood Boomer who was in Little House on the Prairie? And he was a television actor as a child. He was like a juvenile, and he played a blind guy, and he was a love interest of one of the girls. As year 5 of Little House on the Prairie, they wheeled in a blind guy to fall in love with one of the twins or whatever. And she knew, she grew up with that show, knew everything about it. She's like, nobody else is named Linwood Boomer. That's not a name that, it's not like, oh, let's call our child Linwood Boomer, So he was the creator of the show, and he had sort of toiled in sitcoms for a couple of, like a decade or so, created the show and sold it, and it was entirely speculative. We got a very small fee for the initial thing, but the nice part was that we got to keep the publishing, or half of the publishing. But a lot of times they take it all, and you never see another dime. So, but because it was just, I mean, what do you call it? It was like not work on spec. It was like we were almost doing them a favor at that juncture of the show because the show hadn't been sold or anything. So we did this song for them, and yeah, it seemed very likely that the show would never even get made. So it was a nice surprise.
And then you guys went on to win a Grammy.
Yeah, we won a Grammy. Yeah.
Yes.
So you actually won 2 Grammys.
Yeah, we won a Grammy for a kids record later too.
What's that like? That's amazing. It's obviously, on a universal level, people can appreciate what a big deal that is.
Well, it's funny because we have for our entire lives up until we won the first Grammy made fun of the Grammys and thought they were, rewarding mediocrity. And I think we had to quickly change our story after that.
Did you go to the ceremony?
We now think Grammys are
You went and accepted them?
Yeah. It was completely. We felt like
Was it really cool?
imposters. Cool. I don't know. Cool is the right word. It's like a very weird, gigantic.
It's posh,
thing.
and you're in like the weird sort of inner circle thing, and there's all sorts of people, recognizable people. When we won, we basically followed around T-Bone Burnett, who had won everything for that year. He won a bazillion for Oh Brother Where Art Thou. Right. And he was right in front of us in the press junket line. So for an hour and a half, we just sort of watched T-Bone Burnett work in the room. Yeah, he's a real pro.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now you guys are about to drop your 15th album.
Yes.
We're gonna drop it. Yes.
That difficult 15th album. A lot of bands, they falter.
Album itch,
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, this one could be a tough one.
And it's your first sort of family album since for the last few years. Isn't it?
Yeah, we did 2 kids albums in a row, and that was our general plan was to kind of go back and forth. We never really thought the kids thing would take over our lives, but there was sort of a run there where I guess when we won the Grammy for the kids album, there was a lot of momentum behind it, and they wanted to get another one out fast.
Right, but we've always felt like doing the non-kid material was the essential. That was the normal project, and we never had to refer to it as anything other than just They Might Be Giants. So it's very weird now that we have to describe it as our adult material because it sounds like porn, which is not at all.
I think we should call it our swear word material.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Nice talking to you. Yeah.